Good morning and welcome in to the Pats Nation. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe's with us in the booth. You are watching us on YouTube. And hey, remember, when you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Give us that thumbs up. Like the show. Leave a comment. We want to hear from you. And, if you're not watching us, you're listening to us, and you're doing it on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, anyway podcast, you can catch us. And want to hear from you in Heated Hotline. We got one today. It looks like we had one yesterday. I think Joe wants to play it again today. It was an interesting one. So we want to hear from you in Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. Have a take. It's a message line. Or you can email us on our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com. 10-7. Patriots beat the Denver Broncos to go to Super Bowl 60 last week in the AFC Championship game. Yes. And it was, it was a real barn burner, wasn't it, in that game, guys?
Oh, what a barn burner.
So we talked a lot about it yesterday on Corso and Catone. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but we're going to get our first look today into the Seattle. I don't know if I could do this for 2 weeks. The first week was brutal. It's just too much time. But anyway, we're going to go into Drake Mania and hear from one of you in the Nation and Heated Hotline. I think it's going to be that same one. And we're going to go to Coaching Room, talk a little bit in Coach's Corner about the coaching and what it's been this season and what led here. And in Pat's Preview, that's where we're going to get our first look at the Seattle Seahawks, who beat the Rams. I don't know what the final was, 31-27 to advance to Super Bowl 60 to play the Patriots. Hi, guys. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing?
One more week.
I got a feeling the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. See that video I sent you?
I saw the video.
Take it easy. I'll play that video.
Joe, yeah, we're going to put that next week, Joe. We're going to put that up next week, Joe.
So we want to get into some things. We want to get into Drake Mania. But first,
taken the last timeout, and here we go. This could close it. 3rd and 6. No safety deep. Oh, here he goes. He can try to beat him with his legs. As Ellis runs after him, and May got there. Drake May outraces the defender, and the Patriots now only need to fall on it, kneel on it, and they can make their plans for Santa Clara. On the victory platform with the New England Patriot legend Adam Vinatieri to present the Lamar Hunt Trophy. As the AFC champions, Patriots have won it again. To present the trophy now to Robert and Jonathan Kraft and the Kraft family. Adam, all yours.
It's my absolute honor to present the Lamar Hunt Trophy to you, Mr. Kraft, and the family, and all of New England Patriot Nation out there. Congratulations. Congratulations to you guys.
I can't tell you how proud I am to be associated with these guys and this organization. I want to thank Robert and Jonathan. I love our quarterback. I love our football team. I love our staff. I'm a lucky head coach.
Yeah, okay. So that was some sounds, the final play call of the game, and of course the trophy presentation right on Denver's field. Oh, I love that moment, huh?
You think the owner for the Titans wants to shoot himself?
Oh.
You let Vrabel go. You fired Vrabel.
Well, did you hear this week that there's a reporter down there or a media guy down there that has he's got an axe to grind with Vrabel anyway. But, talking about how the Patriots are he's a lucky coach. They're a lucky team. If it wasn't for John,
and then he said if it wasn't for the owner, Kraft hired. Yeah, exactly. He said he would have hired an OC that was a stiff because that's what he did in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Super Bowl 60. We predicted it, right?
Joe did. Wow. Nobody predicted this, right? Joe predicted like 10, 11 wins, but nobody predicted this, Chris.
Yeah. So it was a good day, and hopefully maybe a better Super Bowl. We'll see. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about that. But first, we want to get into want to talk a little bit quarterback room, going into Drake Mania and talk about it. Joe, whenever you're ready, let's do it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is
Anthony from Shrewsbury. And I wanted to talk about Drake May. The thing with Drake May, he has trouble in the weather. He's got small hands, and he has trouble when he's, handling slippery balls. So, when his balls get wet, it's real slippery for him because his hands are small. So that's the problem, I think, with the Patriots. They've been struggling a little bit, but, hopefully he'll be okay in San Francisco or wherever they're playing, and, go Pats.
That was our heated hotline call yesterday on Corso and Catone. It was Anthony and Shrewsbury talking about wet hands and slippery balls. Mark. And he must have been enjoying himself. You could tell.
Oh, Anthony! I think Anthony might have had a couple of celebratory drinks before he made that call. I think.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Drake May. Let's talk about the quarterback room a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked yesterday. He's been struggling. In these last several games, I went through the numbers. He's 55% from 77% completion percentage, which is the big one. That's the big number. His pass numbers are down. Everything's down. And we discussed it yesterday as to why. Why is this happening? Is it a combination of things? Is it the shoulder? What do you see with him? And then moving forward now, going into this game, what do you want to see him do with his time here for this next week and, to get himself ready? Because he's going to play. I mean,
He'll be perfectly fine. He's got 2 weeks to get the shoulder ready to go. I mean, he'll be fine. But
so do you think nothing? No, it's no big deal. This is not a problem.
I think what he actually said, we've been going nonstop for 30 weeks. I mean, here's a kid who probably played 9 games, 10 games. They played at North Carolina when he was there. I don't think they went to a bowl game. So his arm is probably tired, Chris, like a pitcher. Pitchers, their arms get tired late in the season, right? I mean, at one point during the regular season, Crochet had a dead arm for like three or 4 games. And then he got, they limited the number of pitches he was throwing. And then in the playoffs, they were able to throw him 105 pitches, So I think part of it, he might be a little tired. But I think more importantly, Chris, his completion percentage is down. I don't think it's because of the shoulder. I think it's a combination of things. I think number one is your receiver room is going up against top 5 defenses, and they can't get separation, and they can't get themselves open. Your tight end can't get himself open against athletic linebackers. So who are you throwing the ball to?
Yeah.
I think, his offensive line played a little better Sunday, but shoot, they've given up 15 sacks in 3 games.
Right.
So that plays into it. You're sped up as a quarterback because you're not going to have much time to throw the ball. I think in the last game, they beat into his brain not to fumble and not to turn the ball over. So I don't think he was playing instinctively. I think he was being conservative.
Sped
up, not taking a couple of shots maybe he could have taken because they told him, don't turn the ball over. So I think it's a combination of different things, Chris. And some of it could be his arm's a little tired. Maybe it was a little tired. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. I don't think he injured it on that tackle in Denver. Maybe he aggravated it. If he got hurt, Chris, I bet you it was in that Charger game because they beat his brains in that game. Beat his brains in that Charger game.
Yeah, listen, I think it is. I think it's a combination. I put, in all honesty, I put the shoulder injury because he's clearly injured. He was on the report. I put the shoulder injury down on the list.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because when I watch him play that game and I see his footwork, I mean, you were seeing things that we had issues with when he came out of the draft, reverting back to some bad habits, and so, yeah, I'm sure the shoulder's bothering him. I'm sure it's creating maybe issues on those open throws where he's got to drive. Maybe. Okay. And anytime your quarterback has a throwing shoulder injury, a problem, it bears watching. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Hey, Chris, on the flea flicker, he threw a great ball to Hollins.
But that was across his body.
Over 2 defenders.
that was across his body. The torque is a little different than when you threw that ball to Booty on the out and those in cut. Those are more open throws where your shoulder's a little more open and exposed, and it takes a lot more torque on that shoulder to get those throws, to deliver those throws. So maybe, I mean, it could be something to do with that. But I honestly think it's more like you said. I think it's more to do with the fact that I think he was sped up in this game. I think the moment's the moment, for these guys. And again, the beating down of, like you said, that's the biggest deal. I can't hold the, because part of the reason why he was getting strip sacked so much was because he's holding the ball too long. We talked about that last week. I said, Jesus, he's hanging onto the ball too long. Why is he holding the ball too long? Well, it's a myriad of factors. One is what you just said. And to me, the biggest one is the wide receiver room. You're not seeing this. You're not seeing him hold the ball long if A.J. Brown's on this team. Brian Thomas Jr., a bouquet, guys like that. You're not seeing that because the ball's out, because separation's had, it's done. And having a weapon like that changes everything. It changes the whole entire way the defense plays you. How much pressure they can bring, what kind of disguise, what kind of games are they playing up front? Because they know they don't have time to play those 2-3-man games with your rookie tackle. Because they know that on the outside, that dude's coming open quickly. Not only that, you can't devote a safety down in the box anymore. You got to put the safety over the top. So it matters. The weapons make such a big difference with how the quarterback gets how quickly the ball can come out and all that stuff. I'm not giving them a pass. I'm saying that there's some factors here other than this injury that are creating this. The question now becomes, though, Mark, what is our first look just at Drake May as he's going to be with this Seattle team? I look at the Seattle front and I say, okay, they're a top 5 defense for sure, but they're not. How do I say it, Mark? They're not like Houston. They don't have that guy. You're not afraid of them. There's not a fear in them. Like somebody's come bearing down. Somebody's going to have Campbell at the line, and I'm going to get my face kicked in. Anderson. They're not like that. This team.
No, they do more. They scheme. They do different things, Chris. You're right. They don't necessarily have an Anderson. They don't necessarily have a Benito. They don't necessarily have. They don't have those 2 edge guys from Mack and the other guy from the Chargers. No. But they got a solid. They have a solid defensive front that can create pressure. Listen, Stafford drew. I know the Rams have a shit better weapons than we got. I mean, you got Adams and Nakua, right? Obviously, their weapons were 1,000 times better than ours. But Stafford threw for almost 400 yards, Chris, because he had time in the pocket. Stafford's not mobile. He's not running around the pocket. You know what I mean? He had time.
And there were times he could have run and he could have got out. And if you had a mobile quarterback, you may win that game.
Yes.
So, listen, look, they got Leonard Williams, okay, one of the best D tackles in the game. You got Marcus Lawrence, the linebacker. Ernest Jones, the other linebacker, the 126 tackle. So I mean,
these are guys that get sideline to sideline, which you love. Do.
So my point is, though, in this game, my first look is I think May is going to have a little more breathing room than he's had in the last several weeks. He's going to have a little more breathing room. You're going to be able to block this up more. There are going to be a lot more clean pockets. And I think the message to Drake May in this game, or at least if I'm the coach, the message to my quarterback in this game is what Bledsoe said to Brady in 01 before he went out for that 2-minute drill.
Yep.
F it.
Let
her rip. Just go play. And that's what I think you got to say. And I think if he's like that and he can play that way, Mark, I think he'll be fine in this game.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, can guys get open? And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But first, the quarterback himself, no, I don't think the moment's going to get to him. I think the coaching staff is going to get out of his head about the turnovers and just go play ball. And I think he'll be okay. And let's not forget his legs. What he did with his legs in the Denver game, what he's done all postseason long, Drake May, running the ball. So, our first glimpse of this, yeah, I think it's possible that May could have a big game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he can. Well, here's my thought process around this, Chris.
And I'm not being a homer. I mean it.
No, I'm not being a homer. Here's my thought process around this. So you go Witherspoon on one side. So he's gonna probably, I don't know, take somebody out, maybe, whatever. But their other corner takes chances, Chris, and they allow big plays. Like Denver didn't allow big plays. Houston allowed big plays during the course of the year, even though they had an incredible defense. And in that game, Booty makes the one-handed catch. Douglas runs free in the middle of the field. I think you'll see some of that again in this game. Seattle will give you that in this game. Yeah. You'll get a couple. If May's shoulder is healthy, you'll get a guy running free in the middle of the field like that. You'll be able to throw a ball over the top of Booty if he's there. Those plays will be there, Chris. I think
they take a lot of.
You'll get a couple of
zone.
It's not going to be. Yes, it's not going to be all day long, but you will have an opportunity to make plays, I think, against this defense. And I have a theory and a thought here that this is it. This is his swan song. Probably never going to go to another Super Bowl. Maybe he will if he gets lucky and latches onto another team. If he leaves here, whatever. This is it for Diggs. He knows this is his shot, right? I think you're going to see Diggs do, what he did.
He'll die on that field.
No, but I think he's going to turn back the phone. I think he's going to turn back the clock. And I think he's got 2 weeks to rest his body, 2 weeks to get ready for this game. And he's going to leave it all on the field. And that Super Bowl, when Cincinnati played the Rams, Beckham was not the same Odell Beckham Jr., but Jesus Christ, he came out of the gates like he was 24 years old again. And if he didn't blow his knee out, Chris, he was probably going to have 150 yards receiving in that game, right? Yeah. And I think you could see Diggs come up with one of those performances next week, I should say. But,
Well, I mean, listen, they're playing a team that plays a lot of zone, and as it relates to Drake May and what you're talking about, look, the only difference between this team and other teams that play zone is, they get on top of the routes quicker. So
they do.
The windows,
their linebackers are quick in the middle of the field, Chris.
The windows that are open are not open for long.
No, you can make a quick decision.
It's going to have to be quick decisions. It's going to have to be protect them, and Drake May is going to have understand. Watch a lot of film. And he's going to have to understand that those windows, he's going to see them, and they're going to be there. He's just going to have to deliver the ball and have confidence to deliver the ball, which the coaches, I think, will instill in him. So, and we're going to have much more of it next week when we break this thing down. This is just our first glimpse of it. But Drake Mania was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, next week we're going to have our look at the week, at Super Bowl week. We're going to talk about the media day and all the interviews, and we're going to talk about the practices.
I think the media day is Monday night, I think.
Is it Monday or Tuesday? I don't know, but
maybe it's Tuesday. It might be. You know what? It could be Tuesday, Chris. It could be Tuesday. You might be right.
So we'll see, but we'll have that all next week on Corso with the Cone. But we come back. We want to go in the coach's room, talk a little bit about the Patriots coaching staff. Coach's Corner is next.
Guess what? I got a fever, and the only prescription is more
Corso and Catone.
Saturdays at noon.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, so talk a little bit about Drake May. I want to talk a little bit about the coaches. We didn't talk about that a little bit yesterday much on Corso and Catone. So let's do it today, and let's do it in Coach's Corner. Joe.
Coach's Corner.
The clock is 0, and you knew that you were going to the Super Bowl with this.
It's a group effort. It just wasn't me. And again, I stand up in front of you guys, and I am thankful of the people that are around us in that building and our program. And you have to come together, and you have to do what's best for the team and from a personnel standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, and from the players. And you get everybody to believe in something and buy in. And again, that doesn't come without adversity. You have to have adversity. But I do this for the players. I've been in their position. I've been there, and it's amazing. And I want other people to feel that feeling, and it's for our families who make a lot of sacrifices, and the excitement and the joy that they have. Trust me, I'm fine. Like I'll be okay. I do this for the players to be able to experience this with their families, and our coaches to be able to experience it with their families.
Isn't this the guy that said he would like cut off an appendage in order to win a Super Bowl? Something like that.
Listen, keep it clean. This is a PG. Listen, don't go off the rails. Don't go off the rails today.
Joe gave me a 20-minute lecture after yesterday's show about the
listen,
language.
Anybody who wants to see him go off the rails, please, you have to go watch Corson with Catone from yesterday. I did Catone's comments. I was calm. All I made was a couple of nursing home references. I was good. and tapioca pudding. And I was good. But Chris went off the rails. Please go watch his reaction and what he does after Catone's comments. You have to watch it because it's must watch, YouTube TV over here. You have to watch it.
Okay. So
yeah.
And by the way, we're gonna talk about Belichick later in this show too. But I promise Joe okay. How did he do this? How did he get this team here? Nobody. I mean, listen, the preseason picks, we were, 6 wins, 7 wins, that's where we were. Joe had maybe a little higher. How does he get this done? And he's coach of the year. I mean, I don't want to hear any. I mean, it's,
Well, Chris started this the day he took over at his opening press conference.
Yeah.
He started this culture building when he said, we're going to win the division. I want to play home playoff games, and I want to compete for a championship. That's what this program is going to be about. He said it. And we're going to be a family.
All in 1 year.
He said, and we're going to care about each other. And when something's going on, you got to give somebody a call. You got to. This was all at his opening press conference.
Yeah, it was.
And he did it in 1 year. You're right.
And he also, he also talked about too. If you remember, about talking about to the players when he addressed them, and they kind of give us a glimpse into the room. And he talked about the facilities, the place, the family, meaning the whole organization. Look, guys, these people are here for you, the chefs, the cooks, the cleaners, the people, all the support staff. They're all here to help you to make your life better. So
he did say that. You're right.
Let's show them the appropriate respect that they deserve for trying to put you in a better spot. Like that was moment one. And there have been times in this year that's been tested. That theory, that whole idea of family first, we're all we got, we're all we need, all that stuff that Diggs came up with. And he talked about, I want the players basically to make money. I want the players to succeed personally, but as a team as well. Right. So you wanted them to get their money. You wanted them to get their incentives. And times during the year came up. You had the Diggs issue. You had the Bondmore issue.
You did. And speaking of those incentives, Chris, he did that. Was it the Jets game where they were all making their incentives?
Yep.
And he was on the sidelines hugging them and giving them high fives. Like Diggs made his incentive. Chazon made his incentive. Henry made his incentive. Right?
Yep. Yeah. Then he put them on the field with the opportunity to do that. And then when time came that he had to protect his team and his players and his family, he did.
And
he's got
he caught a lot of flack for backing Diggs. A lot of flack for backing Diggs.
A ton of it for saying, hey, we're going to let it play out. I'm not, all that whole thing that went on with Bondmore and Diggs. And he maintained the same message. throughout the whole process, and that's how he got it done. It's not easy to do because you can see it. You know, when you as I watch the whole season, and I watch all these games, all the other teams, I hear the press conferences, I listen to the coaches, and as New England was succeeding all season long with this message, you could see some of these other coaches trying it in press conferences, talking about the team and the family and the culture. It just doesn't ring the same.
No, because he's done it from day one when he took over. That was his opening press conference.
Right.
Even the players for all those other teams started talking about the same sort of stuff. But if you notice, none of them on any other team ever says, "I love playing for the coach. Love playing with this coach. Love my coach."
Yeah.
Like they all say, "Oh,
Diggs
Diggs
said it right out, Chris. He's the best coach I've ever played for.
And here it is.
He stayed the same, consistent the whole time. When we lost to the Steelers and we lost a couple of those games early, you know,
it was emotional.
Out and put us in that spot, and nobody believed in us. You know, let alone like us for any matter. I feel like our coach believed in us. He helped us build this identity that he speaks of. He held everybody to the same standard, and something I'm super thankful for. And I realized that it starts at the head. You know, when you hold everybody to the same standard and you hold everybody to the same requirements each and every day, you hold your teammates accountable. You know what I'm saying? You start looking at your teammates like, you know what I'm saying, self-policing, self-accountability, and you don't want to let your teammates down. So the camaraderie and the team chemistry that he's built from the coaching position, the head coach position, is second to none. And hopefully he wins Coach of the Year because probably the best coach I ever had.
And there it is, what you guys are talking about. So, I mean, that's the Mike Vrabel perspective. The other guy that I feel like he gets his due. He gets his due, but I think he's going to get a lot more due, especially with that. Well, this is what May had to say about Josh McDaniels.
Great job of mixing it up, doing what we do best, and also mixing it up. I think we still haven't played our best football yet in this playoffs, and I'm looking forward to seeing that and hopefully having that click and win the Super Bowl. That'd be pretty cool. I think just having him and knowing what the game's like, he's great at having feel for that, and he's I think the best offensive coordinator in the league. So I got full trust in him.
Yeah. So, Mark, talk about what happened on that sideline, that video you sent to me. Drake May was mic'd up for this AFC Championship game.
May was mic'd up, and May's telling him, this is hard. This is really hard. And
it was what, about with that, right before that
last 6 minutes, right? And McDaniels gets on his knee and looks up at him, like almost like he's talking to his son, right? Because May's a kid. He's 23 years old, and it just turned 23 in August.
Yeah, look at the scene he's in.
Right, but you can hear it in his voice, like he's a kid, right? You know,
it's
you're
hard.
not talking
like,
to you're not talking to a 40-year-old
right
Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
And he says to him, "I know it's hard." He says, "But we got 6 minutes to go. We basically just stick with it, because at the end of it, if we come through it, you're gonna.
I promise you,
I promise you, it's gonna be like the best feeling you've
ever
had."
Yeah, it's going to be worth it.
And
like a father would say to his son,
like
you said, Mark, just like you said, like a father would say to his son who looks kind of beaten down, who's sitting there with his head down saying, "This is really hard. This is really hard." I don't fault the kid for having that stance.
Oh, no, he's a kid.
And so, like it was similar to when Darnold years ago with the Jets said, "I'm seeing ghosts." People tortured him over that. I don't have a problem with that because it's real. That's real shit. That's what's happening out there. That's when the boogeymen were born. Remember in that moment. But so Josh McDaniels, Mark, to me they're not here without him. They're not.
Well, Chris, was it the Seattle Super Bowl on the interception from Butler that Brady starts jumping up and down and saying, "Josh, we did it. We did it." But he had that relationship with Brady, but Brady was a lot older, obviously. But he builds those relationships with his quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And that trust with his quarterbacks.
He does. And let's not forget, this is like, how many Super Bowls is this now for Josh McDaniels coaching in?
Well, let's
gotta be like 6 or 8. I mean,
he was with them with the Rams, right?
Was he in
with them-
01? He was there in 01.
He was with them with Seattle. He was with them with Atlanta. That's 3.
Was he there in 03
Was he
and
there
04?
was he in 07? I don't know if he was the OC. Was that O'Brien? But he was like a quarterback's coach or something.
It's got to be like 6 of them.
He's been to like he may have been to 5 or 6 of them. Yeah.
Where he's a coach. Not an OC, but
not an OC, but he's a coach. Yeah. You're probably right, Chris.
He's able to take this kid and the rest of them, and he's able to sit down with them, and he's able to get with them on the sideline and say, okay, guys, it's okay. This is okay. Because he'll be able to tell May, this is exactly what is going to happen. I'm not talking about X's and O's. I'm talking about this is what's good, the peripheral. Listen, in any profession, and Mark will tell you this too, so won't Joe, the fear is the unknown, always. I got young attorneys that'll go into court and they gotta try a case and they're nervous. And it isn't about what kind of question do I ask or what kind of objection do I make. It's about where do I stand? How do I address the judge? Yeah. What side do I sit on? Like where those things are what create fear in a situation. And this is a guy that's able to tell his guys, hey, look, this is what's going to be like. This is what you're going to hear. This is what you're going to see. This is during this time. This is the crap that's going on. That's invaluable for this team, Mark. Yeah,
I have to think May is going to be like a sponge this week and next week because McDaniels is going to tell him, listen, when you come out of that tunnel, there ain't nothing like it. You're playing for the whole thing. So, right.
So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting perspective. But yeah, when you talk about the coaching room and even Zach Kerr, look what he's had to deal with.
Chris, do you give Kerr the credit for what this defense is doing?
I am.
You have to. Or do you think Terrell Williams is working behind the scenes with these guys?
Well, I'm sure Williams is talking with them. I'm sure Williams is looking at film. But you have to give it to Kerr. Or Core. Is it pronounced Core or Kerr?
I'm not sure, but
I've heard it both ways. That's why I asked.
Listen, he's going to get a lot of credit if they win this whole thing because of the defense. Somebody
you got to get. Listen, we were giving him crap a couple of weeks ago.
We were.
So he came out in that they came out in that Chargers game, and since then, their game plan, the execution of the game plans, have been not flawless, but they've been really phenomenal. And they're not getting the credit. They got that chip on the shoulder. And no, I give Zach Kerr a lot of credit for what he's been doing. And of course, Vrabel, because I'm sure that he's, helping with the game plans and all that. But no, the coaching staff has been spectacular. It's been the biggest difference. Obviously, that's the biggest difference between. I know about the free agents. I know about all the guys we brought in and all that. But the coaching staff has been the biggest difference between what was and what is now. End of story. So give them full credit, and we'll be paying attention to their game plan and what they're going to do. I'm sure that they've been in the lab, and I don't know, it's probably set already.
So Chris, it's Super Bowl. So next week is you got a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm guessing, Chris, when they get on that plane, the game plan's already has been installed, and now next week it's just going through walkthroughs and maybe making some tweaks. But all the work is done before you get on that plane, right?
Yep. They put that plan in on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in that range, and then, they do it in spurts. They do, middle of the field, third down. They do red zone. They do, all those things. So, yeah, they've put the game plan in. So it's set. And I think they flew out today, right? Sunday? Were they flying out? I'm not sure.
They're flying out Sunday. They're flying out Sunday.
Today, yeah. So
I think Vrabel, today. I think Vrabel wants to try to keep it as normal as possible, Chris.
Yeah. Well,
for them, which that's not going to happen. But
and listen, and talking about coaching on the other side, real quick, there's a coaching staff on the other side. They don't have they don't have.
No, Mike McDonald's done a great job over there, Chris. He's going to get a lot of votes for Coach of the Year as well. But that's an inexperienced coaching staff too. They've never been here either.
No, I mean, it would be different with McVay. That's why you didn't want to see the Rams.
I didn't want to see them. I don't want to see the Rams, not just because of the offensive weapons they had, but just because that would have been the third time they've been to a Super Bowl and
been there, done that, know what to do.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
Well, tip your hat to the Seattle coaching staff too. Listen, they lost their home opener to the 49ers by only 4. They lost 3 points to Tampa. They lost by 2 to the Rams. And that's it.
Yeah, Chris, they nobody's, yeah.
3
beat
losses,
everybody.
right?
Yeah, they're a good team. Listen, you're playing a real good team, and that's why everybody's picking against us. Everybody's picking against us.
Yeah. So, well, wear it like a badge all week. But Coach's Corner was presented by Corso
Hey,
Law
Chris,
Group.
because of that, they're wearing the whites, right? They're wearing the old whites because they're going on the road. They're road warriors. Because we're the home team, correct? So we could have wore whatever we wanted.
Right. They chose the all whites because they want to embrace that narrative of 9-0 on the road warriors, us against the world. So we come back
10-0, right?
We come back, going to go with the Pats preview and talk a little more in depth about this game and our first look at the Seahawks. Stick around. The real deal New England feel. What does that mean? We're like you. We're going to bitch about everything.
My opinion, our draft, the good, the bad, it was ugly.
These people, Mark, drive me freaking insane. Bananas.
It's so frustrating and aggravating. I can't take it.
The real deal New England feel. It's going to be real. Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, let's now. We've been talking about a little bit about these Seahawks. Let's dive into the Seahawks just a little bit. Okay, talk about what they bring to the table. We're going to do it in Pats preview. We're going to do it right now.
Pats preview.
Okay, Mark. So here's a team that, like I said, they went 14-3 on the season, right? Was it? Yeah. And they lost 3 games on the year. And, you know, they had to play some tough competition. They've had to play, the Rams twice. Obviously, San Fran, when San Fran was playing pretty well, they had to play them twice, coming out of a tough division. They didn't. I don't know if they played. I don't think they played Philly or teams like that. But the point is, they had some tough games, and a tougher schedule, right? You would say than the Patriots had. I mean, this season.
Yep, absolutely, positively.
So I want to talk about their offense a little bit because in this playoffs, let's just say it that way, and maybe even all season, if you really go back and look at the Patriots schedule, this may be the best offense they've played all season long, especially given that they had all hands on deck. The teams you play in the playoffs are missing guys. So you look at Sam Darnold. We'll talk about Sam Darnold in a second. Jackson Smith-Njigba.
A receiver that's a little bit of a dynamic receiver, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him for in a second. Okay, so I feel it. I know it's coming. Okay, Jack. This matchup you're going to tell everybody the story that we talked about 4 or 5 weeks ago, when I said, "What happens if this happens?" Anyway, you tell the people the story. But Jackson Smith-Njigba, you got a Barner, the tight end. You got Cooper Kupp. You got Kenneth Walker, who I think is one of the best running backs in football. Okay, this kid.
He's healthy. When he's healthy, he is, and he's healthy right now.
And then Rashid Shaheed. Okay,
Chris, believe it or not, I'm scared of Cooper Kupp in the middle of the field against our defense.
So let's talk about it. Talk about Sam Darnold. I'm seeing ghosts. This was the Sam Darnold.
Well, that was a different Sam Darnold. I think he's beyond that now. A totally different quarterback. I think working in Minnesota with he's like a guru of quarterbacks. I think really straightened him out and got him where he is. I'll give that guy from Minnesota a lot of credit, but he's
67.7 passer rating, 25 touchdowns, 14 into a lot of interceptions.
I was just going to say that though, Chris, but you can force him into mistakes. He don't see the ghost anymore, but he does have a tendency to throw into coverage where you can intercept the ball. So, listen, if they do the same thing they've done all playoffs, Chris, like they did to Stroud, they did to Hebert, they did it in the second half to Stiddy. I think you can confuse if you get pressure on him. He's not a real mobile quarterback. He'll roll out a little bit, but he's not going to be running the ball. I do think, Chris, you can confuse him and force him into turnovers. I do.
Yeah, he's
And,
definitely
no,
one of
and,
these
and
guys.
I'm saying that, and they have only lost 3 games all year, and they've only lost by the most is by 4 points. So it's
Yeah, but
not,
he's-
you know, I'm saying that, but he
Well,
has
no, I get
14
it.
picks.
He's thrown 14 interceptions. Look, like I
Yeah.
said, I mean, it's
know.
again, this guy's numbers are completely different when you speed up. When under pressure, these guys' numbers are different than when you let them sit there. So that's something to look for in this. We'll get to where you want to go in a second, JSN. Talk about the running game, though, because you and I talked the other night. I said, well, if you're going to take something out of this game, okay, and I guess we can bring it up now. If you're going to take one thing away from them, do you want to take Walker away or do you want to take JSN away, if you even can?
I think the way our defense has been playing, especially if Spillane plays, I think the way our defense has been playing, Chris, I think we'll be okay against Walker. Nobody's been running the ball the whole playoff against us. I think we'll be okay. I think you have to listen. You're not going to stop JSN, Chris, just because of how they use him.
Yeah,
I think you're just going to have to try to limit him where he's not putting up a 180-yard performance and 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns. Like, you're going to try to limit him. You're not going to stop him. No one has stopped him all year. He's got 119 catches and 1,800 yards receiving, right?
Mark,
so
he
no
had
one's
10
been able
catches.
to stop him all year.
In the NFC Championship game, he had 10 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown, which was like common for him.
But I will say this, Chris. In the second half of that game, though, in the late third quarter, fourth quarter, the Rams did a better job of limiting him.
Yeah.
So you know, because he had like 140 yards halfway through the third quarter.
The problem with him is
Right,
just what you
Chris,
said.
He ends up with 150 yards on a regular basis and a touchdown or 2. But they're going to move him all over the field, Chris.
That's
it's not
the
like the
problem.
old days where Gonzalez is going to line up directly across from him and say, let's bring it, let's go. That's not how they use him. You went crazy when you saw him come out of the backfield. You said, we're dead if that happens. We're dead. Because you said,
Well, because everybody, all week long, you've been listening to people say, well, okay, what's the matchup? You got to play Gonzalez on him. Yeah, they're not going to let that happen. Seattle's not going to. The days for everybody out there around the water cooler.
Those days are gone.
The days of locking up one guy on one guy. Offenses are too complicated for that now. They motion.
The days of Reggie Wayne lining up on one side and Marvin Harrison on the other, those days are gone. And they did that the entire game. Those days are gone.
Right. You say, well, Ty Law is going to play on this guy. Listen.
Yeah, those days are gone.
The motion, there's too much motion. They moved this particular player. They move him all around, like Mark said, all over the place. And what's going to end up happening is if you're sitting there, if you're the Patriots and you decide, we're going to play man coverage all day long on this guy. That's it. All day. Well, now it's just like in basketball, not to cross sports, but they're going to hunt the matchups at that point.
Yeah.
And they're going to put him in motion. They're going to put him in the backfield. You put him in the backfield. When you put a running back in the backfield and it looks like 20 personnel. So it looks like 2 running backs, no tight ends, receivers. That's the look. Yeah. Well, you can't take a corner and put him on a running back. It's just not done. The alignment isn't proper. Yeah. So you're never going to have that matchup. So if you put him in the backfield, you better pray to God he doesn't end up on one of our linebackers.
Tavai will handle him. Tavai will handle him, Chris. Tavai.
You know, so it's going to definitely be a cat and mouse game. Now, what I can see them doing with him is in and out coverage. So what I could see happening is when he lines up on the outside, if you really want to put Gonzalez on him, you can do that. You can meet in the middle and you can do that. If they line him up in the slot or if they line him up in the backfield, you can put Jones on him. I'm okay with that. I'm a hell of a lot more okay with that than getting a safety caught on him or getting a friggin' linebacker caught on him or Mapu or somebody like that.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem, Chris.
So I think you can combine Marcus Jones and Gonzalez on this kid, you know. Yeah. But Mark, you got to figure out how the hell you're going to stop Barner, the tight end, and Kupp in the middle. You go ahead, talk about that.
Listen, Kupp had a resurgence last game. And everyone's like, it was just because he was playing the Rams. No, he's healthy. He's getting healthy. He was injured on and off all season. He's getting healthy. The last 3 weeks, You saw it the last couple of weeks of the regular season, and last week and this week, you saw a different Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
They're going to try to exploit Chris, the middle of our field with him. He's going to be the guy he looks to on third down as a possession guy. And he, believe me, Chris, he's going to be a factor in this game in the middle of the field. And we're going to have to figure, because as you said, the focus has to be on JSN. But I'm afraid this could be a game where Cooper and Walker. I'm afraid this could be a game where Cooper Kupp gets like 10, 11 catches, 100 yards, 110 yards, and he ends up being the possession guy. Move the sticks, move the sticks, move the sticks. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that. Because I'm going to tell you something, Chris, because Davis gives you such a damn cushion. If he gives Cooper Kupp that cushion, he's going to chip him. He's going to kill him.
This has been the whole problem with the decision all season long to say, well, we want to be in man, not zone. I mean, we have zone, we have man corners. The problem is the other two guys. So when you want to decide to play man, now you don't have to do it across the board, but like if your other two guys get caught up in man, now you're dealing with linebackers and safeties, dealing with Cooper Kupp and Bonner, and maybe even Walker out of the backfield.
Yeah.
That's a problem too. Picture Tavai running with him.
And I'm going to tell you the other guy I'm afraid of, Chris, because in the last two games, he's caught a deep ball in each game. He runs by somebody. Is Rashid? Rashid. Shaheed, Chris, only runs one route pretty much, but he gets by somebody every week. Every week he gets by somebody. Every week he spent the last 2 weeks, he's run by somebody.
No, so this is going to be the biggest test for this defense, no question. And it's from a schematic
standpoint. I guarantee
you
we get at least one holding call on Davis. On Shaheed, at least.
Well, that's no prediction. He's famous for it. And Mark, so flipping to the other side of the ball, because we're going to be breaking this down next week too.
We're going to break it down a hell of a lot more.
Looking at the defense, we talked about this just a little bit earlier in the show about what a professional defense this is. I mean, like I said, I mentioned guys like Will Lawrence and Witherspoon and Williams and Jones, Ernest Jones. When I say professional defense, I think Drake May is going to have a little more room. I don't think it's as menacing. That's the word. It's not as menacing of a defense as Houston was. Where guys just Hunter and
Chris, they will run different looks at him to try to confuse him.
And you're going to see back again is what the Chargers were doing to Campbell and Wilson on that left side. You're going to see two-man games,
believe it or not, Chris,
games, and overloads.
Yes, as dominant as he was during the season getting sacks, Bonino from Denver, he's not that type of a rusher. He was somebody Campbell actually is more comfortable going up against. You're right. You're going to see what the Chargers did is what Seattle's going to do to us, and that's scary because we had all kind of trouble. Only better. We had all kind of trouble in that game. Yeah. Campbell didn't know him and Wilson didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, 2-man games, 3-man games where they're picking one guy and they're looping and overloads. That's what you're going to see. I mean, it's going to, so how do we handle it? Well, again, chips, you're going to need help on that edge. You're going to have to run the ball, Mark, against this team. You're going to have to, and you're going to have to try to. Yeah, like I said, they're a good zone team. The thing with Seattle with this defense, when I watch them play, when I say they're a professional unit, they're game plan specific defense. So they're going to plan for the opponent. They can play zone as well as man. Like they're equally efficient.
McDonald, Chris, was the DC in Baltimore. Baltimore, the year he was the DC, had a real good defense.
Yeah. Just fundamentally sound.
Chris, he coaches the defense as the head coach. He calls all the defensive plays.
That's right. Yeah. This game is going to come down to him versus McDaniel. That's what this game's going to come down to.
So about 5-6 weeks ago, before the playoffs started, Chris said to me, imagine if us against Seattle.
But tell him why, though. Because when the draft happened, okay, when Gonzalez was drafted, and when JSN was drafted, and he before he was JSN, he was drafted, and the Patriots had a chance to take him at 17, I want to say, and we drafted Gonzalez at corner, and Mock lost it. He was pissed off, lost it. I had learned from the N'Keal Harry incident, so I was sort of up in arms too, but I was more like, It's still a good corner, though. He's a good guy. He's going to be a Pro Bowl corner. So we're going to get an All-Pro. But you were really pissed off because you saw it. Nobody else saw it. You said, this kid is going to end up kicking Metcalf out of Seattle. He's going to be the reason Metcalf goes.
You thought I was nuts.
I didn't think he was nuts.
Your son's my witness. Andrew's my witness.
You said, exactly what happened with JSN? You predicted it. So now I said what? Now, a few weeks ago.
Now imagine if it's us against Seattle with
it's about 4 weeks. This is when the playoffs began.
Yeah, they began. He said there's about 4 minutes to go in a game. We're up a field goal, and Gonzalez is going to have to take on JSN.
I said, and that's when it's going to come back to roost. I said, there it is. Yeah. This is going to be that matchup right there.
JSN's going to go buy him for a touchdown to win the
and then
Super Bowl.
And then I said,
and
Mark
will go bananas.
He'll break everything in his house, Joe. Everything. So it may happen. We'll see. I don't know, but it's definitely a matchup to look at. And that's our first look at the Seattle Seahawks. Good football team, professional football team. There's a reason they're favored 4.5 points to this point. And that line may keep going up.
And we'll talk more about this next week, and we'll get into our predictions next week and why we think, who's going to win and why not. But,
Absolutely. So, Pat's preview was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England Field, Saturdays, noon Eastern. Everything Mark just said, we will have it on the show, including Catone's comments. B's and C's will get you caught up on what's happening with basketball, Jason Tatum, a couple of big to do there going on. So we'll talk about that on next show. But we come back, going to go weekly rewind. Got to talk a little Hall of Fame snubbing.
Joe. No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
Back in with more Pat's Nation. Okay, listen, we got to go back in the week. There was a Hall of Fame. Some announcement was made. Bill Belichick did not make the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. We're going to discuss it in Weekly Rewind, and we're going to do it now. Going back through the week, about a Weekly Rewind.
I want to respect my elders, Mr. Bill Polian. Sit down. Just don't say anything. You don't 100% recall whether you voted for him or not, but you recall everything else you said and what you didn't say. But you didn't recall whether you voted for the man. So you remember everything surrounding the subject, but you don't remember whether or not you actually voted for him 100%. That's the most asinine thing that I've heard in quite some time. Sit down. That's all I'm going to say to them. I'm not going to be disrespectful to my elders, okay? My mama
like Mark was yesterday.
I'm trying to be nice, but this is ridiculous, okay? Now let me say this to everybody about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We should boycott that bad boy. Nobody should show up. Nobody should want to go into that Hall of Fame if Bill Belichick ain't in as a first ballot Hall of Famer. 6 championships as a head coach, 8 overall, 2 as a defensive coordinator, universally recognized as arguably the greatest coach in the history of football. And if you don't definitively feel that way, it clearly is a discussion. There is no reason on earth that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I know T.O. got robbed as a wide receiver. That shouldn't have happened, by the way, okay? What are you going to do next? If it's going to be because of Spygate, if it's going to be because of Deflategate, are you going to use that excuse to keep Tom Brady out as a first ballot Hall of Famer next? I'm telling you right now, there are certain things that are so egregious, it stinks to the high heavens that you could do something like this to this man. I don't give a damn that he was a bit truculent with the media. I don't care that he wasn't the most inviting person in the world. His credentials are his credentials.
Bill Belichick not in the Hall of Fame. And the voters who have no guts whatsoever. This is not nuclear physics or some major project with the United States. Put your name to it. If you didn't vote for Belichick, put your name to it. Show us why. Explain why we didn't vote for Belichick for this, that, and the other. Put your name to it. Show some guts. Don't hide behind, well, this is secret. No, it's not. It's in sports. It's not secret. And furthermore, think about this for a second. You think that Kraft, who thinks he's going to get in this year after he did 14 years of campaigning with Stacey James, which drove everybody crazy? Do you think that Kraft wants to celebrate in July with Belichick? And Kraft and Poley are tight as thick as thieves, the both of them. Thick as thieves. Belichick and Kraft don't want to celebrate with Belichick. They hate each other. So
okay, that was
right.
first take with Stephen A. Smith and Mad Dog there.
Mad Dog, I think you get the gist of it.
All right, Mark. Yesterday, this one is definitely this is a falsetto. Look, yesterday on Corso and Catone, I got scolded for about 15 minutes by Joe because I called it an effing disgrace. Well, I didn't say effing. I used the word.
No, you said the word.
But
and then you went on a rant about Michael Felger.
Oh, he's an asshole.
Oh!
All right, Mark.
Well, because he said he's not.
Oh, you had Foley in the nursing home. So, I mean, we both,
I didn't say anything bad. I just said if Bill Polian can't remember whether he voted for him, give him room 302 in the nursing home, and I'll send him a bowl of tapioca pudding and have somebody feed it to him. That's all I said.
Mark, this is an epic disgrace. I mean, it's just.
But what is it that ticked you off about Felger? What did he say? I'm not what by it. I'm not.
He's not. But in his calm, condescending voice.
Yeah.
And God bless the man. He got the #1 afternoon program on all of radio in the country. God bless you. But nothing's forever, my friend. Nothing's forever. He kept talking in his calm, a-hole way of, look, I'm just, I think it's wrong. I think they got it wrong. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. But I'm just not as outraged as you people. I'm just not. And that just pissed me.
That ticked you right off.
Nothing pisses you off more than when you're unreasonably upset about something like I am. Yeah. And you got some calm a-hole in front of you telling you calmly, look, I'm just not, I agree with you, but I'm just not there where you are. Oh, but you didn't want to put you on the ground. I'm not going to beat the shit out of you like that. How about that, Felger?
We don't condone violence here.
We don't condone violence on this show. Condone violence. I just want to put that out there to my viewers.
Mark, the outrage isn't about Bill Belichick. That's not what the outrage is. The outrage is for the calamity of the process that you create, that you did. Like, the process was tainted and a shroud has been put over the Hall of Fame because of this. That's the outrage. Yeah. If you care about the Hall of Fame, if you care about it, which everybody seems to, then you have to care that these people abuse their power. And they factored things in. Spygate has been legislated. It's been adjudicated. It's done. It's over.
They paid fines, draft picks, this, that. They faced a penalty for that. So now you're going to make this guy pay penance for that again after they have already done that?
Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you as a governing body of voters for the Hall of Fame to sit there and do it again? Yeah. That's double jeopardy, man.
It's ridiculous, Chris. It's totally ridiculous.
That's it.
Listen, the Football Hall of Fame, Chris, at least up until this point, I know that, Stephen A. mentions they screwed Terrell Owens, which they did. But it at least had a shred of dignity and it wasn't viewed like the Baseball Hall of Fame is. They're keeping out, guys like Clemens and Bonds and McGuire. Why? Because they did steroids when 95% of the league were on steroids. The owners knew it. The league knew it. The managers knew it. Nobody cared until some dealer got caught. And
not only did they know it, it was encouraged.
He had all these names. Of course it was. He had all these names of players. Well, now all of a sudden, these guys were all blackballed. I mean, come on. Really? You didn't know that was happening? Of course they knew it was happening.
But
So
they
now you're
served
gonna
their
keep this
penalty
ball
for that.
out of the Hall of Fame?
Look,
You got racists in there. You got, in the Football Hall of Fame. Aqib Talib said, you're going to keep this man out for Spygate when you got murderers? He was referencing O.J. right? He said, you got murderers, you got crackheads, cokeheads. He said, you got all these people in the Hall of Fame. You're gonna hold this man out to pay penance for that? He said, what the hell kind of nonsense are we dealing with here?
You think Chuck Noll wasn't an a-hole to his players and everything else, or taking every advantage he could take? He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Landry, listen,
you mean you're going to tell me when he becomes eligible that Andy Reid's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
You can't now. You've established the precedent, because if Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, nobody is.
Well, I guarantee you Andy Reid will go in on the first ballot.
How is that possible?
Because he's going to, Chris. He's going to go in as a first ballot Hall of Fame. I guarantee it.
Look,
let me jump in with Bill Walsh wasn't a first rounder.
Yes, he was. He was a first ballot, I think, Joe.
No.
Bill Walsh wasn't a first ballot?
Lombardi wasn't either. Either.
I knew Lombardi wasn't, but I thought Walsh was. Walsh wasn't?
No, I think Joe's right. I think he's right.
Doesn't Reid come from his tree?
Andy Reid comes from his tree, yes.
Listen. There's no doubt. There's no question.
But Andy Reid's got more Super Bowl rings than he does. He's got 3.
Right.
The only way Spygate should enter into this, in this situation, is this. If the reason Belichick was getting into the Hall of Fame was based on like that year or just the year before it, or it was tight. It was like, and that takes him out. That means he never gets in. That means he's not qualified to be in the Hall of Fame. That's it.
Chris, after Spygate, they went undefeated.
Right.
2 years
and
later,
they
go
undefeated.
More.
Then he won 3 more Super Bowls after that, which in itself is enough. Look, there's no justification for this. There is no justification for this. The bottom line is they don't like him. They never liked him. He was a jerk to people. He treated players crappy. He treated everyone. He treated the league crappy. That's the way he was. He didn't want to play by people's rules. They told him to stop videoing it. He did it anyway. Because he's not going to be told what to do, because he's an a-hole like that. Got it. I understand. So that means you it doesn't matter. You get in. You're in.
Didn't the guy a few years back, Chris, doing a documentary for the team, take video of Cincinnati or something? Remember that too?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Look, I'm just saying, this is an egregious. It's taken the Hall of Fame and it's reduced you to a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Listen, Jimmy Johnson's not going to the Hall of Fame ceremony this year. He said, I shot at a plane. He said, I'm canceling it. He said, and this is his exact words, were, I want to know who the assholes were that didn't vote for him. Then I'm cowards. Right. Give us your names.
Yeah. Like I said,
Jimmy Johnson called him the greatest. Jimmy Johnson called him the best coach in the history of the game. And he's a Hall of Famer.
This may be the best thing that ever happened to Belichick, to be honest with you, because
of course it is.
Prior to this decision, this happening, he was getting looked at like a big joke right now.
Yeah.
This all this did was make everybody talk great about him again, and bring back all the accolades and everything else. Because you know who leaked it? He did. There's only reason why we know this. It was given to Wickersham.
He leaked it to Wickersham, of course. Listen.
And people are coming in, Felger, that you a-hole. You know what? I can't wait. Someday you're going to be up for some stupid friggin' broadcast in the Hall of Fame, and some jerk is going to be sitting there with their little pen and paper, and they're going to say, oh, Michael Felger, he was the biggest asshole amongst everyone. And you're known for it to everybody. And we'll see how you feel. We'll see how outraged you are then and when that happens. But you know what? Like, yeah, listen. Who leaked it? Who leaked it? Well, I got a question then for everybody. If the NFL Hall of Fame has not announced official announcements yet, right? They haven't, right? I mean, nothing's been officially announced.
I think it's next week. It's Thursday of next week.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you something, Mark. Nobody's asked this question. If nothing's been officially announced, what's to stop the NFL now from next week saying, I don't know what everybody's talking about, but Bill Belichick got in. He's in.
Yeah, well, they know he's not in, so.
No, that was clearly a mistake. I don't know who erroneously reported that, but he's in. They can still correct this,
They
They
could,
can
but
still
they
correct
won't.
this.
They could, but they won't.
So we'll see. I know, Joe.
Because I don't think that other jerk, no one's talking about that other jerk, doesn't like Belichick either. Goodell, Roger Goodell. Listen, I want to see your reaction if they try to do it to Brady. They might have to put you in a hospital on the watch.
They'll never do it to Brady. You know why they'll never do it to Brady? Because Brady wasn't convicted of letting the balls out of the air out of the balls. The way they'll get around the Brady thing.
He was convicted of damaging his phone.
Obstruction.
So they couldn't see it.
Obstruction.
Yes.
Obstructing the investigation. That's why.
Yes.
And that's how that thing will go. But But Stephen A. Smith's right. If Spygate and these were the reasons, well, that means Brady don't get in either the first time. You've destroyed all your credibility, Hall of Fame. You're worthless in a lot of people's eyes right now. And it's and for you 11 idiots, however many people voted that way, you stupid idiots, or Bill Polian, you horse's ass. Mark's right. Go sit down and have some pudding and go drool on yourself. You're right. Because you screwed the Hall of Fame by passing that around, and then to act like, I don't know who I voted for.
Chris, they changed the goddamn rules of the game for him because he cried because Indy couldn't beat us because Ty Law was banging guys all over the field, and he changed the rules.
You're kicking your ass up and down the field, so that's it. We're way over today. That's okay. It's definitely worth it. So Belichick got screwed. We're in your camp. And you know what? Maybe the best thing that ever happened to you, my friend, because everybody's going to be talking great about you for the next 8 months, no matter what happens. So, Pats Nation was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field, Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, next week, we're going to have our recap of Super Bowl week, which includes practices, media day. Going to have Catone's comments and so much more. Make sure you come back to this show next weekend. We will be the first pregame show for Super Bowl 60. We will have our breakdown. We will have our Sunday spread. Make you some money. Yes, Mark.
Can I ask you why we don't have our credentials for Radio Row?
They won't let us in.
Joe,
because of
you
that,
should have
because
got
of
us credentials, Joe.
Because of the meltdowns that I keep having, that you and I keep having on the air.
They won't even answer my email anymore.
They won't even let us near the joint. They won't let us near the joint. So make sure you're coming back to this show 8 a.m. next week. We are the Pats Nation. Hey, enjoy Super Bowl week.